New York, big city of dreams.
I'm coming straight out.
New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.
Now, I gotta ask you about somebody that I personally want to ask you about. People have been asking me, like, yo, people have been telling me when I'm on the live, yo, Ellis Haliburton, you gotta check this guy out. You gotta check this guy out. I saw some highlights. He looked nice. But then I think an injury thing happened, so we kind of got robbed of...
broken wrist, I think.
Yeah, they kind of got robbed of some information of what he can be in the future against, top tier competition at certain points of the game. But tell me what you think about Haliburton's game.
So Haliburton, he's tough, man. He's really, really tough to evaluate because his game, like, there's not many people I enjoy watching. If you appreciate smart basketball, there's nowhere else to go than Tyrese Haliburton, a true basketball savant on both ends of the floor. Watching him manipulate the defense, like, there's just, like, the one rule when you guys play basketball, the one rule they tell you is don't jump to make a pass, right? Like, stay down on your feet.
Yeah.
Hallie, like, he defies that absolutely. You can watch him. He'll go in the pick and roll. He'll jump up to the point where he's going to, like, lay it in to engage the big man and then just drop it off for a bounce pass layup. Like, his passing is absolutely incredible. As coming off the pick and roll, manipulating defense, he'll hang in the air to, like, draw the help for just, like, a second and then dish it at the last second for a wide open three. Like, he is incredible in terms of just understanding the game of basketball. One of the smartest basketball players I've, like, ever seen. And that translates to defense too. As a team defender, he's really awesome in terms of making the reads, sniffing out passes, just disrupting the other team.
Okay.
But the problem with Hallie, this is the problem.
Yeah, I got to hear the negatives because I love the positives.
If Knicks are taking the top five, the problem with Hallie is that you have to look at him as the ultimate puzzle piece. You really do. He's the guy that glues everything together because at the next level, like, I don't think his handle is good enough to be a primary ball handler. I don't see him as a lead guard at the next level.
Damn.
Between the handle, which I think is pretty shaky, and his lack of, like, burst and like we talked about bags, like, he does not have a ton of combos that are going to shake you. So I just really don't see him as a lead guard at the next level, which is fine. That's completely fine. But if we're just talking about the Knicks and you're taking at number 5, I just don't want Knicks fans to think we, again, similar to Cole, have our point guard of the future. Like, I think his role in the league is going to be really similar to his role as a freshman, where he's going to be a really good ball mover. He's going to knock down catch and shoot shots, which he is really damn good at, knocking down.
So he is what Frank projects to be.
Go ahead.
He's what Frank projects to be.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in a sense, but obviously he's a much better version of Frank, I think, because he can really shoot it. Like, the catch and shoot numbers, he's one of the best catch and shoot spot-up shooters in the country. Hands down. I think he's, like, hovering around 50% there, despite the really wonky mechanics. But, again, he doesn't have a ton of shot diversity because of those mechanics. His pull-up it's looked more fluid this year, but I don't really buy it long-term. He has a little bit of a step back that he can get into, similar to Lonzo Ball. Like, remember Lonzo? He couldn't do anything but that step back to his left pocket. So Hallie's kind of the same way. Like, he can't pull up, so he's not drawing a ton of gravity there. Again, he really struggles to get all the way to the rim, so he's not drawing a ton of gravity there either. So I wonder if that wicked and savant-like passing that he has gets kind of tranquilized at the next level because teams aren't respecting him as a scorer and as a ball handler, which the more I watch him and the more I, like, think about it, philosophically, I think that's unfortunately going to be the path. Now, is that to say that Hallie's not going to be a solid NBA player and definitely someone you want on your team that can contribute to winning 100%? But I think if you're picking in the top 5, top 6, top 7 even, it's going to be really hard for me to get to bite on him just because I don't think that ceiling is there with everything that I said. Like, I love watching him play. He's super smart, and I definitely think he's a piece that a lot of teams would like to have. Just the Knicks, I think that's a really, really bold move.
Damn. So you think he's going to be like what, 15 to 20?
So I have him at 14 right now. I still have him. Yeah, I have him in the back end of my right at the back of my lottery.
Okay.
It's just hard, man. It really is hard because it's really hard to project his role if he's not going to handle the ball, which I'm pretty low on his ball handling
Yikes.
and just operating as a lead guard, and you're not buying his scoring gravity because, like we've seen with Frank, if they don't think you're going to score and they don't respect you, nothing else opens up.
Yeah.
So just that
this-
stuff that like the really genius-like stuff that we see him do at the college level, I just wonder if that's going to get hindered at the next level, and I think it will to an extent because people aren't going to respect him as a scorer.
I think he'll fit on other. I mean, he sounds great, but I feel like since you have him that low, I feel like he'll be a fit for some other teams that have picks around that number.
It's funny because if you
100%.
I start to think like if you have RJ do a little more ball handling, I wonder if something like that can work. A guy who how tall is he?
He's, I think he's like 6'5", but again,
Yeah,
he's
I believe
really
so.
slender too. So strength is a big issue for him in terms of getting to the basket and taking contact. Like he's 6'5", 175, and one of the most contact averse prospects, if not the most contact averse prospect in the entire class. He is basically allergic to free throws. His free throw rate is up to .184. So again, it's up from his freshman year when he was basically allergic to the paint.
Damn.
But again, still,
I mean,
per 40 minutes, you're only getting 2.2 free throw attempts. So like
Yeesh.
the Lonzo Ball comparisons, in my opinion, the Lonzo Ball comparisons are pretty valid. But Lonzo has Lonzo in the open floor is much more dangerous than Hallie in the open floor. Like that is just something like that. But again, Hallie is a much better shooter. He's been pretty hot this year.
Lately,
yeah.
Hallie is I really like him as a pick for, let's say, a playoff team that, like, I'm not looking at the draft order right now, but like if a playoff team like owns a top 10 pick, like a late top 10 pick, and they already have their core, they already have their guys, and they're just looking for another piece who can do a little bit of everything off the bench and won't be asked to take on that big time usage role. If you're the New York Knicks and you've whiffed in the top 10 of the past couple of drafts, I'm not talking about RJ, talking about Frank and Knox, that's just a really, really risky pick in my opinion. Because like now we're talking about, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about RJ like being a primary ball handler, but like he really can't dribble that well. And Hallie's the same way. So I just don't want like those guys like if we had RJ and Hallie handling the majority of our ball handling duties, I think that would be pretty far from ideal, in my opinion.
Okay, so I do see what you're saying about RJ's ball handling, but it's funny because RJ can play make. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the best ball handling. Like he's not gonna give you like 24 hit combos, but he'll hit you with an in and out and throw a lob.
Yeah.
And it works, and he gets to the hole.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I wonder if you can have somebody who can bring the ball up and then RJ playmaking for the work. I wonder, but I haven't had enough of that. I haven't had enough sample size this season to say that will definitely work. But I liked when RJ was playmaking sometimes this season. So I wonder if it could.
yeah, but at the
I
same
agree.
time though,
I agree.
excuse me, Jake. I'll get back to you in a second. But yeah. But now that Jake has pretty much broke it down, like I do see where he's coming from because it's like if you have RJ, for example, who's not a great ball handler, then you bring in Haliburton, who's also not a great ball handler. It's like
who's going to bring down defense?
It's like they're two similar players in a way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You need somebody who's going to really be a primary ball handler who got the handles to like make things happen.
So then you gotta kind of go with Cole, but then Cole doesn't really run an offense well either. So once you get down to I feel like after Killian, right?
Yep.
After Killian, you start to get into this place where you have guards who can fill a role, but not a primary ball handler role. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. No, yeah, you're exactly correct. I mean, early in December, I was the king of the Nico Mannion to the Knicks campaign. Like, I thought that he was our guy because he brought that dribble, pass, shoot skill set that we desperately needed. The pull-up game was there. The passing was there. You can control your tempo, and I thought he was a safe bet. Now I've cooled on Nico. I'm still higher than most. He's still in my lottery, but like Nico, a guy like Nico is the ideal fit in terms of play style, but he's just not been productive enough at all. The shooting splits and the struggles against length and athleticism are brutal. And really a tough pill for me to swallow. He's one of my favorite guys coming into the year.
Oh,
but
man.
again, you can't be tied to your prior opinion. So
Yeah.
I still buy a little bit, but like that was the type of player we need. And that's why I'm really excited to talk about the guys with the Clippers pick and with our Hornets second rounder, because there are guys that can provide that same playmaking and shooting skill set just towards the back end of the draft. Now, obviously, they don't have that star potential or maybe not star potential, but like that ceiling that a guy like Keelan or LaMelo has. But I do think there are some decent options that we'll get to later that can fill that void as a serviceable playmaking and shooting guy, like playmaking and shooting guard. So we'll get to those guys later, but you're definitely on the right track. That look, there's no perfect prospect, and that's why this draft is getting all the flack that it is, especially at the top.
Isn't that almost like a good thing, though?
Nah, now when we losing, we need somebody.
Yeah,
One, we've been losing. Sit
Obviously.
tight. Sit tight. It's gonna be a while.
I've been sitting. I want to stand now.
No, but I mean, I feel like we can make players and we can make stars. Like if there's like most of these drafts, even when they do come out and they are like highly respected, like a lot of them don't live up to it. But if we get someone who can potentially be really good, like I'd rather that.
You're
but
pretty
the
much
thing
what you're
is-
saying is you want somebody who's under the radar, so then when we can sneak in and
Hey.
through the back door, we good now. We didn't expect it.
But here's where I told Credo, because it's like, yo, who have the Knicks made lately though? That's my thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
I mean, RJ's faring out to be good for us.
He needs more time.
Yeah,
I mean, we got all the time. Ain't no rush.
He just needs-
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I'd rather the Knicks get somebody who's gonna be like surefire. Like once he
Facts.
comes in, it's like, you know, like it's
I
over.
don't know.
It's over. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I want that, but then at the same time too, like
Nah, man.
the press that we get, it's like that on top of you playing well and you being young. It's just
Nah, like imagine if we got Morant or Zion. We was one pick away.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I hate RJ like everybody else does, but I'm just saying when it's a surefire thing, you don't have to do much. Just roll the ball out and say go.
Exactly.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier, a lot less work.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I think this is actually a solid segue if we're talking safe options into the next guy we want to talk about, Obi Toppin.
Oh yeah, Dayton. Yeah, I like him.
All right,
So, I mean, the thing with Obi, I do think he's
York, New York, big city of dreams.
I'm coming straight out.
New York, big city of dreams.